Most people think fasting is just about skipping meals, eating less, counting hours, or cutting calories. But that's not where the real magic happens. What's actually happening inside your body when you fast is far more powerful than any diet, trick, or supplement you've ever tried. When you stop eating, your body doesn't just sit idle waiting for the next meal. It flips a switch, a biological reset button called autophagy. That word literally means self-eating, but don't let that scare you. It's your body's built-in cleanup crew, the system that finds damaged cells, broken proteins, and junk that's been clogging up your metabolism and starts recycling it for energy. Think of it like spring cleaning inside your cells. You've got old, inflamed, inefficient parts taking up space, slowing you down and confusing your hormones. Fasting turns on the janitors, the molecular vacuum cleaners that sweep through your system, patching up what can be fixed and throwing out what can't. And the moment that repair mode activates, your energy begins to shift. Your body starts burning old fat for fuel, especially the stubborn, visceral fat around your belly. Inflammation quiets down, your brain fog lifts. Your mitochondria, those little power plants inside every cell, begin to run cleaner and more efficiently. This isn't starvation, it's precision biology, your body remembering how to heal itself. And once you understand how autophagy works, fasting stops feeling like a punishment. It becomes a strategy, one that restores energy, renews focus, and melts away the hidden inflammation that's been standing between you and the health you deserve. By the end of this, you'll see why intermittent fasting isn't just about eating less. It's about unlocking your body's most powerful repair system. Most people try to lose weight by eating less, moving more, and hoping the scale finally moves. But what if I told you that true fat loss doesn't start in your stomach? It starts in your cells, deep inside every tissue, every organ, every fat cell. Your body holds a secret switch called autophagy. And when it's turned on, that's when real transformation begins. Autophagy literally means self-eating. But it's not destruction, it's renewal. Think of it as your body's built-in recycling program. Every day, your cells collect damage from stress, toxins, poor sleep, sugar spikes, and just living life. Over time, these worn-out cell parts pile up like clutter in an old garage. Your energy drops, your hormones misfire, your metabolism slows down. You might still be eating healthy, but your body is operating with old, rusty machinery. When autophagy turns on, your body finally says, enough, let's clean house. It begins breaking down old or damaged cellular parts, the ones that no longer work efficiently, and recycles them into new energy and fresh components your body can actually use. Imagine cleaning out a cluttered closet. You toss the junk, repurpose what's still good, and suddenly the whole space feels lighter, more organized, more alive. That's exactly what happens inside your body. Here's where it gets exciting for fat loss. Most diets simply reduce calories. They shrink the number on the scale, but not necessarily the inflammation or the visceral fat wrapped around your organs. Autophagy, on the other hand, goes straight after the root cause. When your insulin drops during fasting, your body looks for energy elsewhere, and it finds it in those deep, stored fat reserves. But it doesn't just burn fat for fuel, it repurposes it. The energy that once sat dormant in your belly now becomes fuel for repair, healing, and focus. Think of it like a construction crew working the night shift. During the day, your body is busy digesting and responding to meals. There's no time for deep repair. But when you fast, the crew finally gets access to the building. They patch the leaks, throw out the debris, and rebuild what's broken. That's why people often report feeling more clear-headed, energized, and lighter after fasting, not just physically, but mentally. Their cellular environment is cleaner. Autophagy also plays a huge role in longevity. Studies show that animals with enhanced autophagy live longer, healthier lives. Why? Because this process reduces cellular junk that leads to aging and disease. When you fast, you're not just helping your waistline, you're activating a biological system designed to extend your lifespan and prevent metabolic breakdown. And yes, that includes belly fat, the most stubborn, most dangerous kind. Visceral fat doesn't just sit there quietly. It releases inflammatory chemicals that age you from the inside out. When autophagy kicks in, your body doesn't just burn that fat, it dismantles the entire inflammatory environment that made it grow in the first place. That's why fasting has such a profound effect on conditions like insulin resistance, fatty liver, and even brain fog. because the repair starts at the cellular level, where the problem actually began. Now, here's something I tell my patients all the time: you can't buy autophagy in a supplement. You can't hack it with another powder or pill. It's a process your body already knows how to do. You just have to give it space. Every hour you go without food, your body moves from storing to cleaning, from burning sugar to burning fat, from running on fumes to renewing its own energy. It's your built-in detox system, one that's smarter, safer, and more efficient than any cleanse or crash diet. You're not starving yourself, you're teaching your body to thrive on its own stored resources. You're reminding it how to recycle waste, repair damage, and operate at its natural best. So when people ask, how does fasting help me lose weight? The real answer is, it doesn't just help you lose weight. It helps you lose what's holding you back: the damaged cells, the sluggish metabolism, the cellular clutter that's been stealing your energy and trapping you in cycles of fatigue and cravings. Once autophagy turns on, your body stops hoarding and starts healing. That's when fat loss stops being a struggle and starts becoming a side effect of a body that's finally working the way it was designed to. When most people think about fasting, they imagine hunger, feeling deprived, running on empty, waiting for the next meal. But what's really happening beneath the surface is far more fascinating. Fasting isn't about starvation, it's about switching your body from one operating system to another. And that switch from sugar burning to fat burning begins with one powerful hormone: insulin. Insulin is like the gatekeeper of your metabolism. Every time you eat, even a handful of grapes or a splash of milk in your coffee, your blood sugar rises and your pancreas releases insulin to handle it. Insulin's job is simple: move that sugar out of your blood and into your cells where it can be used or stored. But here's the catch. When insulin is high, your body can't access stored fat for fuel. It's locked away. That's why people who eat every few hours, even small snacks, struggle to lose fat. Their insulin never drops low enough to open the gates. The body stays in storage mode, constantly managing new sugar instead of burning old fat. Now imagine what happens when you stop eating for several hours. No snacks, no calories, nothing to trigger insulin. Slowly, insulin begins to fall. And as it drops, your body gets a new message: we're not in storage mode anymore. Time to switch to repair. That's when the magic begins, when your metabolism shifts gears and autophagy starts to awaken. Inside your cells, sensors detect that nutrients are scarce. In response, your body activates a deep survival program. It starts recycling, breaking down old proteins, damaged mitochondria, and misfolded cell parts to create fresh energy. It's like your body saying, we might not have food coming in, so let's clean up what's already here and make it work better. This is the moment your fuel source changes. Instead of running on glucose, your body begins tapping into stored fat. The liver starts converting that fat into ketones, a cleaner, burning fuel that powers your brain and muscles more efficiently. Ketones also help signal autophagy, amplifying the repair response and giving your cells the energy to rebuild. Think of it like a hybrid car that runs on electricity in the city and switches to fuel on the highway. When you fast, your body transitions from burning short-term sugar energy to long-term fat energy. And once that shift happens, your metabolism becomes flexible, efficient, and self-healing. Here's the part that surprises most people: you don't enter autophagy right when you start fasting. It takes time. The average person's insulin levels need to stay low for several hours before autophagy truly ramps up. For some, that happens around the 4 through 16-hour mark. For others, especially those who've been insulin resistant for years, it can take longer. Why? Because high insulin acts like a brake pedal on the repair process. It keeps your body focused on storage, on managing the constant stream of glucose instead of cleaning house. Only when insulin stays low long enough does the body realize it's safe to switch priorities. From digesting to repairing, from building fat to burning it. During this low insulin window, your cells begin to scan for anything broken, inefficient, or toxic. Damaged fat cells are dismantled. Worn-out proteins are recycled. Even viral particles and cellular waste get flagged and removed. It's an internal detox, but one driven by your biology, not a bottle or supplement. And this is why intermittent fasting works even when traditional dieting doesn't. Most calorie-cutting diets still keep insulin elevated because you're eating frequently, even in smaller portions. Your body never gets the extended break it needs to reset. Fasting, on the other hand, gives insulin time to fall. And that drop is the trigger that unlocks your body's repair mode. I've seen this transformation happen countless times in patients. They start with fatigue, brain fog, belly fat, and cravings that feel impossible to control. After just a few weeks of fasting cycles, keeping insulin low for long stretches, everything changes. Energy stabilizes, hunger fades. That stubborn visceral fat starts melting away, and they're not doing anything extreme. They're simply giving their body enough time and space to do what it already knows how to do. Fasting is the language your cells understand best. It's how they reset, recycle, and regenerate. Lowering insulin isn't just about weight loss. It's the biological cue that tells your body to stop storing and start repairing. Once you let insulin fall and keep it low long enough, your metabolism finally remembers what it was designed to do: burn fat cleanly, repair deeply, and keep you running at full power. When people talk about losing fat, most are thinking about the stuff they can pinch, the subcutaneous fat just under the skin. But the real danger, and the real reason many can't seem to shrink their belly no matter how clean they eat, lies deeper. It's the visceral fat, the fat that wraps around your liver, pancreas, and intestines. This is the kind that silently disrupts hormones, fuels inflammation, and drives insulin resistance. It's not just a cosmetic issue. It's a metabolic one. Visceral fat behaves differently than regular fat. Instead of quietly storing extra calories, it acts more like an inflamed organ. It releases chemical messengers, cytokines, that spread inflammation throughout the body. These signals block insulin receptors, raise blood sugar, and cause the body to store even more fat, especially around the midsection. It's a vicious cycle, one that no amount of calorie, cutting, or cardio can truly fix, because the issue isn't just stored fat, it's damaged fat. This is where autophagy steps in. When fasting lowers insulin and your body shifts into repair mode, autophagy begins scanning for unhealthy cells, including those inflamed, overstuffed fat cells that aren't doing their job. These cells become prime candidates for recycling. The body breaks them down, cleans out the cellular debris, and uses the parts that still work to rebuild stronger, healthier tissue. Think of it like removing moldy bricks from the foundation of a house. You don't just paint over them. You take them out, clean the area, and rebuild properly. That's what autophagy does to visceral fat and the inflammation surrounding it. The damaged fat cells are dismantled, their toxic byproducts cleared away, and the inflammation they were creating begins to calm down. As this cleanup continues, insulin receptors on other cells, especially in the liver and muscles, start functioning better. Remember, inflammation is one of the main reasons insulin stops working efficiently. Once it's reduced, your body becomes more sensitive to insulin again, meaning you can store glucose properly when needed and burn fat effectively when fasting. Your metabolism becomes flexible, switching easily between sugar and fat for energy. Patients often describe this shift in simple terms: their cravings disappear, their belly feels flatter, their energy steadies out. What's really happening behind the scenes is a total reprogramming of cellular function. The same body that once stored every bite of food now burns through its own reserves cleanly and efficiently. Visceral fat doesn't just sit in your belly, it talks to your whole body. It affects your hormones, your brain, even your mood. The inflammation it produces can cross the blood-brain barrier, contributing to fatigue, anxiety, and brain fog. When autophagy turns on, those inflammatory signals begin to quiet. The liver clears out stored toxins, blood sugar stabilizes, and your brain starts receiving cleaner fuel from ketones instead of fluctuating glucose spikes. The result: clearer thinking, calmer energy, and a body that finally feels balanced again. This transformation is visible from the outside, but the deeper changes are what truly matter. Blood pressure improves. Triglycerides drop. Fatty liver begins to reverse. These aren't just weight loss markers. They're signs that your body is healing at a cellular level. Autophagy is not a surface level fix. It's the body's version of a deep repair cycle, addressing the metabolic clutter that built up over years of high insulin and chronic stress. One of the most remarkable parts of this process is that it's self-directed. You're not forcing your body to burn fat. You're simply giving it permission to heal. Fasting lowers insulin, and that drop gives the green light for autophagy to begin dismantling the problem, starting with the most harmful fat first. It's why belly fat is often the first place people notice change when they start fasting consistently. The body prioritizes it because it's the most toxic, the most metabolically active, and the most inflammatory. Once that fat begins to clear, your internal environment shifts from chaotic to calm. When autophagy is working well, inflammation decreases, insulin sensitivity improves, and your metabolism becomes resilient. You can go longer without food without crashing, your energy feels steady, and your body stops clinging to fat for emergency storage. It trusts that it can fuel itself from within. What begins as a simple fast, skipping breakfast or extending your eating window, becomes a total metabolic tune-up. Your body cleans house, repairs its foundation, and reclaims its ability to burn fat efficiently. And as that deep belly fat melts away, what's really disappearing is the inflammation that's been driving fatigue, cravings, and hormonal chaos. What's left is a body that's cleaner, calmer, and far more capable of lasting health. Most people assume that to activate autophagy, you need to fast for days, something extreme, uncomfortable, or unsustainable. But that's not true. The body is remarkably adaptable. You can trigger deep cellular repair by simply training your metabolism to go longer between meals. The secret isn't starving yourself. It's timing your eating in a way that allows insulin to drop long enough for autophagy to switch on. Here's the truth. Your body only cleans house when it's not busy digesting. Every time you eat, even a healthy snack, you raise insulin, and that tells your body to store energy, not repair. But when you give your body a break from food, even for a few hours, insulin begins to fall, and the cleanup crew, autophagy, starts preparing to get to work. For most people, the easiest entry point is a 12-hour fast. That might sound simple, but for many, it's the first time their body experiences a real metabolic rest. For example, if you finish dinner at 7 p.m. and don't eat again until 7 a.m., you've already given your system time to clear insulin and begin light repair. You may not reach full autophagy yet, but you're training your metabolism to switch gears. Over time, this 12-hour rhythm stabilizes blood sugar and reduces late night insulin spikes, 2 key steps toward activating deeper repair. Once your body adjusts, you can move to a 16-hour fasting window, often called the 16 and 8 method, fasting for 16 hours and eating within an 8-hour window. This is where many people start noticing visible changes, more energy in the morning, fewer cravings, a lighter feeling in the belly. Biologically, this is when your insulin stays low long enough for autophagy to begin cleaning up damaged proteins and old fat cells. Think of the 16-hour mark as the entry ramp into true cellular repair. Most of your daily energy during this time comes from stored fat, and your liver begins producing ketones. Those ketones signal your body to deepen autophagy, breaking down junk at the cellular level and recycling it into clean energy. It's a powerful biological rhythm that becomes easier the more you practice it. Then there's the 20-hour fast, sometimes called 1 meal a day, or OMAD. This is where autophagy really deepens. When insulin stays low for that long, your body goes into full restoration mode. It begins cleaning up senescent cells, the old, inflamed ones that no longer function properly, and replacing them with newer, healthier ones. For many people, just doing a 20-hour fast once or twice a week can make a dramatic difference in inflammation, focus, and fat burning efficiency. But the key here is not to jump straight to 20 hours. You build up to it, gradually, gently, and without stress. Autophagy is a healing process, not a punishment. Pushing too hard too fast only triggers stress hormones, which can actually raise insulin and slow down the very repair you're trying to activate. Start simple, reduce snacking. Even a handful of nuts every 2 hours keeps insulin elevated. Give your body time between meals to breathe. Shorten your eating window. If you usually eat from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m., bring that down to 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., then 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Gradual shifts signal your metabolism to adapt without shocking your system. Stay hydrated. During fasting hours, water, electrolytes, and unsweetened tea or coffee can keep you feeling clear and calm. Sometimes what feels like hunger is actually thirst or habit. Prioritize sleep and stress control. Poor sleep spikes cortisol, which can interfere with insulin and autophagy. A calm, rested body fasts more efficiently. Your body thrives on rhythm. Once you find your fasting window, stick with it consistently. Think of it like training a muscle. Every fast is a rep that makes your metabolism stronger and more flexible. Over time, You'll notice that you don't need snacks to keep energy stable, your mental clarity sharpens, and your cravings fade. That's a sign your body has learned to rely on its own stored energy, a direct result of insulin dropping and autophagy turning on. Many of my patients are surprised by how naturally this process unfolds. They start with a 12-hour fast, feel better, then extend it to 14, then 16. Within weeks, their body starts signaling when it's ready for longer stretches. Not because they're forcing it, but because they feel better not eating all the time. That's the body remembering how to burn clean fuel. The beauty of timing fasting right is that it's sustainable. You don't have to live hungry, and you don't have to chase perfection. You just give your body time to do what it was designed to do: lower insulin, activate autophagy, and repair from the inside out. Each fasting window deepens the cleanup cycle, melting visceral fat, lowering inflammation, and building a stronger, more flexible metabolism without burnout, stress, or extremes. What you eat between your fasts determines how well your body repairs during your fasts. You can't outfast a bad diet. Autophagy isn't an on-off switch that works in isolation. It's a rhythm that depends on the fuel you give your body when you do eat. If you break your fast with high sugar, high carb, or processed foods, you flood your system with insulin again, and that immediately shuts down the very repair cycle you worked so hard to activate. The key is to choose foods that keep insulin low and support clean energy production, meals that tell your body, we're staying in repair mode, not jumping back into storage. This means focusing on protein, healthy fats, and minimal carbs. These foods help stabilize blood sugar, sustain energy, and allow autophagy to continue working quietly in the background, even after your eating window opens. Protein is your foundation. Every time autophagy clears away damaged cell parts, your body needs raw materials to rebuild new ones. That comes from amino acids, the building blocks of protein. Without enough, you can't repair properly. Aim for clean, high-quality sources: grass-fed beef, pasture-raised eggs, wild-caught fish, and collagen-rich cuts like chicken thighs or bone broth. These not only provide the nutrients your body needs to rebuild tissue, but also help you stay full and satisfied after a fast, preventing rebound eating. Healthy fats are your energy anchor. When your metabolism shifts from sugar burning to fat burning, it thrives on fats like avocados, olive oil, nuts, seeds, and omega-3 rich fish. These fats provide long, steady energy without spiking insulin. They also nourish your cell membranes, the very structures autophagy is busy repairing. Think of healthy fats as the lubricant that keeps your metabolic engine running smoothly. Carbohydrates, on the other hand, should be strategic. Too many carbs, even from healthy sources like fruit or grains, push your insulin right back up and stop autophagy in its tracks. It doesn't mean you never eat carbs, it means you eat them with intention. Non-starchy vegetables, leafy greens, cruciferous veggies like broccoli and cauliflower. These are packed with phytonutrients that actually support detox and cellular repair without raising insulin significantly. They're also rich in fiber, which feeds good gut bacteria and stabilizes digestion, both important for inflammation control. Electrolytes are another key part of this process, especially during fasting windows. When insulin drops, your kidneys naturally release more sodium and water. That's why people sometimes feel lightheaded or tired early in their fasting journey. Adding sea salt, mineral water, or electrolyte powders without sugar helps maintain balance and keeps you feeling strong and clear. Think of it as your body's way of recalibrating its chemistry while it's cleaning house. There are also certain autophagy-friendly compounds that can enhance your results. Green tea, for example, contains catechins, natural plant molecules that have been shown to boost autophagy activity and fat oxidation. Black coffee, when used wisely, can do the same by supporting ketone production and lowering insulin. Even simple herbs like turmeric and cinnamon have compounds that reduce inflammation and help regulate blood sugar. When used during fasting or in clean meals, they amplify your body's natural repair signals. One of the biggest mistakes people make is breaking their fast with processed food or sugar-laden snacks. After a fast, your cells are highly sensitive. They're ready to absorb nutrients quickly. Flooding them with junk food is like cleaning your house top to bottom and then throwing trash back in. Instead, break your fast gently. Start with bone broth, a handful of nuts, or a light protein meal with healthy fats. This smooth transition allows your metabolism to stay stable and insulin to rise only slightly, instead of spiking dramatically. I often tell patients to imagine each meal as either feeding inflammation or fighting it. High carb, high insulin foods feed inflammation. Clean proteins, natural fats, and colorful vegetables fight it. Over time, the difference in how you feel and how your body functions becomes undeniable. Energy steadies, focus sharpens, hunger becomes predictable instead of urgent. When your food choices align with your fasting goals, you create a metabolic environment that encourages healing all day long. You're no longer swinging between sugar highs and crashes. You're burning fat smoothly, protecting muscle, and supporting the cellular repair autophagy started during your fasting window. This is how fasting stops being a temporary tool and becomes a lifestyle of renewal. The meals you eat are no longer about reward or restriction, they're about partnership. You're feeding your cells what they actually need, nutrients that heal, not calories that harm. Each plate becomes part of the same cycle of restoration. Fasting cleans, food rebuilds, and together, they keep you in that steady rhythm of fat burning, repair, and vibrant energy. So the next time you break a fast, remember, you're not just eating, you're refueling a system that just spent hours cleaning, recycling, and healing you from the inside out. What you give it next determines how long that repair lasts and how deeply it can continue. Choose clean fuel, and your body will keep returning the favor with energy, focus, and fat loss that actually lasts. The real power of fasting and autophagy doesn't come from doing it perfectly for a week. It comes from learning how to live it day after day until it becomes second nature. The goal isn't to push harder or fast longer, it's to find a rhythm your body can sustain for life. Because when fasting becomes a lifestyle, autophagy doesn't just switch on occasionally. It becomes part of your daily repair cycle, quietly keeping your metabolism sharp and your energy steady. Think of it like brushing your teeth. You don't do it once and call it good. You do it every day because it prevents damage from building up. Fasting works the same way. Every time you go without food long enough for insulin to fall, you're brushing away cellular clutter, cleaning out old proteins, repairing inflammation, and rebalancing your metabolism. The more consistent you are, the cleaner your metabolic house stays. The easiest way to start is by anchoring your fasts to your schedule, not the other way around. Pick an eating window that fits your lifestyle. Maybe it's 16 and 8 most days, with a shorter fast once or twice a week when it feels natural. If you enjoy breakfast, keep it and shorten dinner instead. If you prefer skipping breakfast, start your first meal later in the day. What matters most is that you're consistent enough for insulin to stay low for long stretches, allowing autophagy to do its quiet work. Over time, something shifts. Your cravings fade because your body isn't constantly chasing glucose spikes. Your energy feels clean, not the jittery kind from caffeine, but the steady, grounded kind that comes from fat burning. You'll notice your focus improving, inflammation calming, and the scale changing, especially around your waist. That stubborn belly fat that resisted every diet finally begins to melt, not because you forced it, but because your body no longer needs to store it. This is the magic of metabolic flexibility. When you live in rhythm with autophagy, your body becomes efficient. You can handle missed meals without crashing. You can focus without snacks. You sleep better, digest better, and think clearer. You stop living in survival mode, constantly feeding, storing, and crashing, and start living in balance, where your energy feels steady all day long. And it doesn't require perfection. Some days, your fast may be shorter. Some meals might not be ideal. That's okay. The human body doesn't demand flawless execution. It rewards consistency. As long as your average pattern keeps insulin low for extended periods and your food choices support repair instead of inflammation, your cells will continue to thrive. The longer you stay in that pattern, the stronger your metabolism becomes. For many of my patients, the real transformation happens not when they lose the first few pounds, but when they realize how peaceful food becomes. They're no longer trapped in the constant loop of eating, craving, and guilt. They eat when they're hungry, stop when they're full, and their energy remains stable in between. Their body has relearned how to burn fat for fuel, and autophagy quietly maintains that balance in the background. This is where fasting turns into freedom. You stop counting hours and start listening to your body. You learn that hunger isn't an emergency. It's simply a message, and sometimes it means your body is cleaning, not needing. You trust the process because you've felt the difference. Clearer mind, lighter body, calmer mood. The beauty of this lifestyle is that it builds resilience. When your metabolism runs clean, you handle stress better, recover faster, and age more slowly. Autophagy doesn't just keep you lean, it keeps you young at the cellular level. Every day you practice fasting, you're not depriving your body, you're teaching it how to heal itself more efficiently. So keep it simple. Stay hydrated, eat real food, and protect those fasting windows like you would your sleep. Don't chase intensity, build consistency. Small, repeatable habits will do more for your metabolism than occasional extremes ever could. Over time, your fasting routine will stop feeling like a health strategy and start feeling like the natural rhythm of a body that's finally balanced. Once you learn to work with your body's natural autophagy cycle, everything changes. You stop fighting fat and start healing from the inside out. The cravings quiet. The inflammation fades. The weight comes off and stays off because your body isn't at war with itself anymore. It's finally doing what it was designed to do: repair, renew, and keep you healthy, strong, and full of life.